In the heart of downtown San Antonio, there's a nightclub that's been a safe space for the LGBTQ plus community for the past 40 years.
It's on the backside of the Alamo, the Texas cradle of liberty.
Generations of San Antonians have become familiar with the Bonham Exchange.
Seeing the lights and the multiple rooms and the music blaring and, everybody just laughing and having a good time. And it was just like, I was at home.
I think that this is it's a place that you can just let go, cut loose, dance all night.
From the drag shows to the dance floor, the Bonham is a San Antonio staple where all are welcome.
Everybody that goes there knows what to expect and they embrace it with open arms.
Here, we're a love everybody, we're a live and let live kind of place.
We're a gay bar that welcomes everybody.
But the Bonham is more than just a place for a fun night out. Baked into the building's walls is a wealth of history.
In this episode of KSAT Explains, we're taking a look at the history and the legacy of the Bonham Exchange and the man who started it all.
KSAT Explains.
KSAT Explains. KSAT Explains.
KSAT Explains. On-demand, in-depth perspective. Perspective on stories we bring you in our newscasts throughout the day. We're looking into concerns over voting safety during a pandemic and the battle over mail-in voting. A look at how the protests and demonstrations have played out in our city and an examination of what it means to be black in San Antonio.
An issue that you have likely felt the effects of, rising property taxes.
The roots of Tejano run deep in South Texas. We examine the cultural impact the music has had in San Antonio.
And this week's show is all about an iconic bar and dance club that opened back in 1981 and the tremendous history behind it.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of KSAT Explains. I'm Myra Arthur. July 2021 will mark 40 years since the Bonham Exchange opened in downtown San Antonio. You can see it's undergoing some changes right now, but over the past 4 decades, this place has seen a lot. Countless drinks poured and dances shared, but of course that happens at a lot of nightclubs. This site, however, has tremendous history, and the birth of the Bonham can be attributed to one man, a man known as a visionary and a pioneer for the local LGBTQ plus community, but for the entire city of San Antonio as well. He left his mark on some signature sites that we all know around town today. But his vision for this space was to create a safe place for the LGBTQ plus community to come and be themselves and to have fun doing it. RJ Marquez explains the history of the Bonham Exchange and some of the nightclubs and the controversy that preceded it.
While today, acceptance of the LGBTQ plus community is more widespread, that wasn't always the case. The World War II era in San Antonio played an important role in setting the stage for that progress for the community, when thousands of military service personnel came into the area from other parts of the country.
Gay men and women who had this opportunity to come out of their rural hometowns and go to big cities, and for many, for the first time, connect with other queer women and men. So it's a really important watershed era for evolving an identity, a LGBTQ identity or queer identity.
Melissa Golke is an assistant archivist at UTSA and a local LGBTQ historian. Her research shows that while there were some small, rundown clubs and bars in town that would allow gay and lesbian customers, most of the community had to go to venues in the outskirts of town to feel a sense of safety.
There's one by Helotes, close to Helotes, called Paul's Grove, also known as the Country. It was very popular, and lesbians, gay men could go there without fear of discovery.
Paul's Grove opened in the 1920s as a sports venue. Golke said that by the 1960s and 70s, it was a microcosm of queer life in San Antonio. And while it was raided periodically by local and military police, it was thought to be a safe place where gay men and women did not have to hide.
So not only would lesbians and gay men go there, lesbian couples frequently brought their children out there to spend a weekend and to just be able to be who they were and be in that space, insulated from whatever discrimination was out there.
Paul's Grove closed after a fire in 1973, but later that year, the San Antonio Country nightclub opened near downtown. The name, an obvious nod to the Old Country nightclub.
they counted on having that place to retreat to, out in the country, away from prying eyes. So when it burned, they have this other space in the San Antonio country downtown. And from all the descriptions I've read and all the people I've talked to, it was a magnificent space.
Arthur Happy Veltman was the man behind the San Antonio Country nightclub. He was a local lawyer, developer, restaurant, and club owner. His impact on this city is absolutely massive, and we're going to talk about him in just a few minutes. But first of all, this location right here at the corner of North St. Mary's and McCullough is where he opened the San Antonio Country nightclub. So it's obviously not here anymore. It's been turned into a parking lot after the club was demolished, but it was unlike any other gay club or bar in our city's history. It wasn't on the edges of town. It was right here, right in the middle of downtown San Antonio.
Joan Duckworth is a part owner and manager at the Bonham Exchange today. But years ago, she spent many nights at the Country after she met Hap.
It attracted a very eclectic group of people, artists, architects, you know, as well as regular people, but there was always people that had something interesting going on in their life there, and it was just way too much fun. We had way too much fun there.
An Express News article from July of 1976 describes the San Antonio Country as a club that catered mainly to the gay community, but it also offered an unusual night out for any who ventured there.
Everybody would go there. I mean, it was a gay bar, but really it was like so many people went there.
Annalisa Peace worked as a bartender at the Country. She remembers the energy inside the nightclub and unique design of the building.
It's kind of like this maze of stuff. There was a big patio that, you know, faced the Riverwalk, which is really nice. You know, and the Riverwalk down there wasn't developed, but yeah, there were several bars. There was a big room where we had the drag show. Shag carpet was popular back then, and you know, kind of weird, but it all worked. You know, it seemed like a really nice place.
But like previous gay and lesbian establishments, the Country was the focus of constant police raids and harassment. The U.S. military banned personnel from going there. Hap fought that ban during a military hearing.
This is the court case between when they raided the San Antonio Country and they put us on the banned list over at Fort Sam.
It was a really major victory. It was the first of its kind in the U.S. So it's important that we had a community leader who was committed to stopping harassment by MPs and local police.
So why nightclubs? So many times when we talk about the fight for civil rights within the LGBTQ+ community, we talk about these types of establishments. Well, those we talked to said that's because these bars and clubs were more than just about drinking and socializing. They were places where they could truly be themselves.
These establishments actually acted as community centers. It brought our community together. That's where they organized, and that's where they planned our marches, and that's where they planned our demonstrations that were really leading into the civil rights movement for the LGBTQ+ community.
Robert Salcido is the executive director of Pride Center San Antonio and a local activist. He is too young to have ever gone to the San Antonio Country nightclub, but knows the impact it still has today.
And people are always posting pictures and recalling like the memories of whether it was a drag show or an event that they were having. So it was really about happiness and bringing the community together. And that's still what a large part of our community still embraces at the clubs that we have today.
Hap Veltman sold the Country in 1981. It was demolished soon after.
It was just sad, like I said, because frankly too, I think that building had historic status. You know, it would have been fun to have kept it there.
Hap used the money from the sale to open a new club that has become a beacon for the LGBTQ community in San Antonio.
The only thing that's left of the Country, I understand, are a few little steps that go into the parking lot. Everything else is just obliterated. So we don't have that historic building, which would be so lovely to have that. But what we do have is the Bonham.
There would be no Bonham Exchange or San Antonio Country without Hap Veltman. He also had a hand in turning the Riverwalk into what it is today, the St. Mary's Strip, the Blue Star Arts Complex. He helped develop some of the most well-known places around town. And when people talk about Hap Veltman, they often talk about Gene Elder. The two were great friends who met at Trinity University. They both since passed away. but their legacies and some of their great stories live on.
I originally met Hap disco dancing with other high schoolers down on the Riverwalk because we were underage and we could go into restaurants that had a DJ and be able to dance.
That moment led to a lifelong friendship.
Hap came over and said, "Joan, would you go to a gay bar?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but I'm only 17. And he says, "Well, when you turn 18, you come to the San Antonio country and I'll buy you your first drink." So I did that, and that was back in '75.
I came to know him because I was hired to work at the greenhouse. The greenhouse was a mainly lunch place for downtown folks. At a pretty young age, I met a lot of the movers and shakers of San Antonio because they would come in there every day for lunch.
Hap owned the greenhouse, one of the many businesses he developed.
Here's what they would call the fairy godmother of San Antonio, who did all these amazing things. You have this prominent developer and citizen and activist.
In 1968, Hap and his business partner opened Kangaroo Court, one of the first restaurants along the Riverwalk that faced the river. That was a revolutionary idea then. It helped start the trend of businesses along the river that used the scenery to attract customers. But as much interest as Hap Veltman had in developing San Antonio, he also wanted to preserve its past.
He would stop and he'd go, "Look at that building. Do you see this building, Joan? This is why you should always drive on the streets versus driving on the highway. So you can see how the neighborhoods are changing and see how people are fixing things up or if it's going downhill and needs money put into it." He was very pro keeping the history of San Antonio here rather than demolishing anything and putting up a new building.
As for new ideas, Hap was full of them. He was part of creating the Blue Star Arts Complex in Southtown and putting the St. Mary's Strip on the map as a nightlife destination.
There are those little pockets of culture, and that's the kind of thing that Hap created. Like with the country, it was gay culture. With the greenhouse, it was San Antonio's downtown progressive business people and a lot of the progressive lawyers and also and then with the Blue Star, you had the whole art scene blossom there.
Hap was well connected and well respected in San Antonio, knowing the right people to help his visions come to life. One of those people was his dear friend, Gene Elder.
He was an artist, a very eccentric man, a love of a man.
Gene was one of my best friends. He was hilarious in himself. Like he had one time he ran for mayor, and the name of his party was the Party, and actually got a lot of attention. But he was advocating for the arts in San Antonio.
He also tried to, at one point, petition City Hall to name San Antonio the Big Tomato, like New York is called the Big Apple. He wanted San Antonio to be the Big Tomato, and well, they turned him down, but still a funny story.
Gene helped Hap run some of his businesses. He was the original manager of the San Antonio Country and also helped operate Blue Star. Something else Gene was known for, his love of collecting.
It's just Gene's nature. They used to call him the clip and file queen.
I remember one time Gene, he said, "Oh, you've got to see this." And he took me down. It was behind one of the printers. And they would throw out like all this, their proofs that weren't, didn't line up or anything. And I was like, wow, this is cool, stuff like that. So I remember, it was those printers printed the label for Fiesta Spices. And so we wallpapered his bathroom with the sheets of those Fiesta Spice labels,
That love of collecting led to a lesser-known collaboration between Hap and Gene, the Happy Foundation.
The Happy Foundation was started by Hap as GLBT Archives, and he put Gene Elder in charge of it. Is Gene, was a hoarder, in a very good way, sometimes scary way, had been collecting, just clipping for decades. So he was collecting queer history.
Okay, are we good to go? Yeah. Let's go in there. In a room inside the Bonham.
So welcome to the Happy Foundation. Understand The man who was in charge of this passed away, and I've kind of left it as is, but you're welcome to come in. You're the first people that have ever been back here with a camera, though it's not set up like a library. It's a collection of gay memorabilia over decades.
There's so much in that space that is probably not found anywhere else, including all the local LGBTQ publications, which fortunately UTSA digitized many years ago, I think in 2012, through a collaboration with the Happy Foundation.
All the legal fights that went on around the country, he would follow and collect articles from military off-limits policy, Servicemen's Legal Defense Network. This is SA gay, lesbian, and bisexual veterans. It's a very interesting place, and every time I come in here, I find things I never saw before.
Nothing much has happened with these files, photos, even old art supplies since Gene Elder died in 2019.
If it's left in my hands, I love these people too much to ever let go of this.
A lot of work has to be done, archival work, because it's just stacked to the ceiling with everything. But it needs to have a future.
The past is certainly what's collected here. Two men behind the Happy Foundation, the San Antonio Country, the Bonham Exchange, and more help shape the future for LGBTQ+ people in San Antonio and our city as a whole.
San Antonio will always have a piece of him. Everywhere you go, I see things that he worked on, people that, he worked with, people he influenced at a young age like me. Quite an amazing man. We were friends till the day he died.
It's clear Hap Veltman left a mark on San Antonio. His impact still felt today. But the Bonham is likely the place that most people associate with Hap. It has become an iconic San Antonio gay nightclub that generations have experienced and enjoyed.
Seeing the lights and the multiple rooms and the music blaring and everybody just laughing and having a good time. And it was just like I was at home.
There's really nothing to compare it to. The vibe and the energy in here is one of acceptance, and I think it's something that's lasted through the years.
It's hard to pinpoint a single reason why, but the Bonham Exchange is an undeniably successful gay nightclub. It has been since Hap Veltman opened its doors in July 1981. Joan Duckworth still remembers when her friend Hap told her his plans to buy the building.
We were driving around the block of the Bonham, and I thought we were just talking, and he looks at me and he goes, "Joni, I want to buy that building." And he's the only man I ever knew that could look at a building like this and be able to buy it.
Hap fell in love with a 3-story, 25,000 square foot building for its unique architecture and history.
This building is 130 years old. A German athletic association bought the land in 1891 and then opened Turner Hall in 1892. This massive facility included a ballroom and a bowling alley, and this dance floor down below actually used to be a basketball court.
These are the original tenants of the building. These are the Turnverine Orchestra. I thought that was a good one.
In 1932, Turner Hall closed. The U.S. government bought the building and turned it into a USO club for about 30 years.
I think it's ironic that it was owned by the military at a point because of the fact that it later becomes a gay club and how much friction there was between the military and the gays.
The Bonham was then a sorting station for Post Office Number 1, and at I guess about 1980, it needed $150,000 worth of repairs, and the Postmaster General said, "Take a match to it."
And that's about the time Hap stepped in.
Hap's decision to open a gay club in that location was very deliberate. It's on the backside of the Alamo, the Texas cradle of liberty. He was making a statement. Unfortunately, he had the clout to make that statement. It was important to him that people in the city accept that there's a big population of gays in San Antonio, and this is going to be our space.
Hap died in 1988, only 7 years after the Bonham opened. But Joan and so many others continue to make Hap's vision a reality, operating an inclusive nightclub that's withstood the test of time.
We're a gay bar that welcomes everybody.
And Joan has been joined by others along the way. Together, they have seen a lot of changes in the outside world. Bonham co-owner and general manager Lee Haynes was hired back in 1989 as a bar back.
In '89, things were a lot different. You couldn't be open and gay and be open about it. You couldn't be in the military and be in here.
Progress has been slow.
When I came out, our safety was only where we felt safe with other people like us. When I started at the Bonham, it was a little bit intimidating because the people that would go there were all calibers of life, every single lifestyle.
Drag queen Elena Marquez first came out in 1997 and started working at the Bonham in 2007. She says the size of the venue and the crowd intimidated her at first.
How are they going to react? Are they going to embrace it? Are they going to frown?
But now she's a staple at the establishment. Vicki Buchanan fell in love with the Bonham while she was still in high school. And a few years after she graduated in 1991, she started working at the club.
Finally, just became my home.
Vicki and the rest of the staff and customers at the Bonham have witnessed a lot of significant setbacks and milestones in the fight for civil rights for the LGBTQ+ community since this club opened 40 years ago. And they say celebrating the steps toward progress has been joyful.
We're all equal. We all deserve an equal playing field. And it's nice to see some of my oppressed friends be able to live like I do.
While the progress made is exciting, the fight for equality is far from over.
We still see, unfortunately, some of the issues that we have. We just ended the 87th legislative session where we had over 30 anti-LGBTQ+ bills that were filed, largely targeting the transgender community. We still have a high number of trans women and trans individuals that are being murdered and violently taken from us. We look at these types of things and we see, there's still a whole lot of work that still needs to be done.
Even with the ups and downs going on in the outside world, the crew at the Bonham has been busy creating a safe space for their customers inside.
There have been many times throughout my years that I have had my customers come to me and come out and they're like, I've never said these words before. And they couldn't even say it to their families. They're like, my family doesn't know, I can't tell them, but I'm telling you. And I mean, I've hugged them, I've cried with them.
The Bonham has long been a place that happily welcomes all, and Vicki hopes no one loses sight of Hap's vision.
Know when you walk through that door, you were walking into a 40-year-old gay bar that was here as a safe haven for people who didn't always feel safe at other bars.
Over the past 40 years, on any given weekend, you could expect to find a crowd right here at the Bonham, dancing and having a good time. But of course, stop us if you've heard this before, the pandemic changed everything. In the spring of 2020, like so many other businesses, Lee and Joan made the decision to close their doors to keep people safe. But now with case counts low and more people vaccinated, they are planning to reopen once again. Ivan Herrera talked to some of the Bonham's employees about what they're looking forward to most when those big doors open.
To many LGBTQ+ community members, the Bonham Exchange is a home away from home where they can express themselves freely. But that all changed last March. Lee Haynes says the closure really hit hard for everyone at his bar.
It was disheartening. I had been here for 30 years working every weekend, and then all of a sudden on Friday, March 13th, it's no more weekends, nobody's allowed on your club, it's mandated by the governor. It was a big reality, big slap of reality.
Lee says the decision to continue to stay closed, despite Governor Abbott allowing for the reopening of bars earlier this year, was a hard but necessary one for everyone's safety.
We just wanted to hold out until there were open vaccines for anybody who wanted one, and that we felt at that point we could serve responsibly, and we're at that point now, we feel.
But the San Antonio establishment didn't just sit idle during the pandemic. Lee and his employees got to work and remodeled the Bonham Exchange to welcome back their patrons, both old and new.
We've worked hard trying to bring this girl back up to its beauty and go for another 40 years.
Vicki Buchanan says the closure of the bar made her rethink her career choices, but she knows the Bonham is and always will be home.
I am used to hustling, turning and burning and slinging. It is in my blood. I have been a night creature my whole life, and being behind a bar, this is my sanctuary.
Vicky says she's looking forward to finally seeing the patrons who made the Bonham Exchange her special place.
I'm just hoping that as soon as we open the door, all the love comes back, because I have missed my people. I live and breathe for them. I miss my people sitting here talking to me.
And the bar isn't the only thing missed at the Bonham. Elena Marquez says she's looking forward to hitting the stage and interacting with her audience once again.
I'm just wanting to get back to being able to do my hot chest contest on Fridays, having my weekly talent night every week, getting back to that.
Overall, Lee says the Bonham is about making memories and going back to creating new ones for years to come.
I think we all have an appreciation for the simple things, getting a drink at a bar with a friend, and that's something that we just want to welcome and bring back all the good memories we used to have and start it all again. We're really excited to.
There are plans to reopen the Bonham sometime later on this summer, and we hope the next time you're able to walk through those big double doors, you'll know more about the history of this place and how it all got started. I'm Myra Arthur. Thanks for watching this episode of KSAT Explains. We'll see you next time.